Like, I'm really intrigued. I just so you know, everybody, I think Jon Jones is going to be on the show in a minute, and I'm really, you know, I mean, as a guy that is, I mean, I'm 45 and it's too late, and I'm terrible. I'm really, you know, I mean, my friends will shoot me down for saying this, but it's true. I'm fucking terrible mixed martial artist. Really, one of the worst guys there is in the game. And what must it be like for him to just? I don't think he. I feel like the first day he was in the gym, he could kind of push people around.
You think he has a natural?
I feel like the very
ability?
first day that he trained mixed martial arts, he did. Everybody in the gym was like, "This guy is fucking gnarly."
Because in skateboarding, almost everybody you talk to, I've talked to, said they've never had a natural ability for it. They all had to really work at it. So
yeah, but there's a little bit different. The difference is I'm not really like Jon Jones wrestling. He wrestled, and wrestling is a giant thing in MMA. So it's kind of a little bit sort of like like being a pro surfer and never skateboarding, and then when you get on the skateboard, you pretty used to going sideways. It's not the same thing, but I would say even more so wrestling is. I mean, it's half of MMA.
Right.
Like if you're a high level wrestler and you've never done MMA before, just do your wrestling and then you do some punchy things in the middle of your wrestling thing, and you're a fucking mixed martial artist. If you're like those guys, some of the guys that I know that have just did it their whole life in school, if they get a hold of you, and you've been training for 10 years, and when a dude who's a really good wrestler gets a hold of you, you are in some fucking shit. And that's got to be half of it. But he's not even built like a wrestler. Like, he's a big, tall, lanky dude. How did it? I want to know if he lost in wrestling. Like, he didn't. He's not the greatest wrestler that ever lived. So somebody beat him, you know. But now he gets to punch people. Nobody can beat him, or can they? Does he get beat?
I guess we'll find out.
Maybe if he shows up.
Yeah. I feel like this storyline would be boring because I just feel like I love Daniel Cormier, but it just seemed like Jon Jones is clearly the superior fighter, and the only thing that's stopping him from proving that over and over again is Jon Jones not being in the ring for other reasons.
Yeah.
But then there was that last fight. And
yeah, but what about if he didn't train that hard because of that because it was who he was fighting?
I know.
It's like what's that movie, the race car movie where Niki Lauda pretty much admits that if it wasn't for Mark Hunt, he wouldn't be.
Yeah. The documentary that came out a year or two ago, right?
Rush.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a movie.
A movie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good movie, but it's based on it. You know, Niki Lauda. The movie's about him, even though it sort of stars another person. But the rivalry that made him step up to the plate, that made him who he was, and I feel like if Jon Jones didn't exist, Daniel Cormier would be the light heavyweight champion, and he would be undefeated, and he would be a freak. And it's, you know what I mean? Because I mean, who beats Daniel if there's no Jon?
Right. So when is this fight?
Saturday.
And is this one a free or a pay-per-view?
Fucking Saturday, and he's gonna be in here.
I know.
I don't even want to talk to him. I'm nervous. I do want to like spar him. Like, I just want to see what it's like. I've only sparred a couple of tall people like that, and it's the craziest thing I've ever dealt with. Like, you think you're so far away, and then I guarantee you that dude just kicks you, and you think you're nowhere near him, and you get kicked, and you're like, what?
What happened?
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Wow, UFC 214 is a pretty impressive card.
right?
Cormier Jones, Tyron Woodley against Damian Maia, Cyborg's fighting, Lawler Cerrone, Jimmy Manua.
Hey, how are you guys? I'm John.
How you doing?
Good.
What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up? What's you guys' names? God damn it. I'm like, I'm John. You guys are like, hi. What's up, names?
I'm Mike Tully. We're
I'm
live
Mike.
on the air. And that's Jason.
Jason. Mike and Jason.
What's up?
Thanks for asking, Jon Jones. Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You were looking dapper.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Working tired, right?
You look young.
Young?
I
Thanks.
think it's the beard thing.
Being gone.
Yeah.
I am, yeah. I'm only 30. I just turned 30 a few days ago on the 19th.
I know, but you got
Young man.
the no face hair. Makes you look like way different.
Oh, thanks.
I noticed in that interview with Daniel, you looked, first of all, very angry. I don't know. I mean, I know you're at the gym, and I've been to your gym, and it's if you're a mixed martial artist, there's no need to be angry if you're at that establishment. That is the greatest gym I've ever been to in my life.
My man, I like that. Smart man.
I had an hour with Wink. I had because I'm good friends with Keith Jardine, so I got like the VIP treatment.
Nice.
And it was right before one of my pro fights, and I learned so much in 2 days that I was like, imagine if you lived here, because I could see that there's that upstairs where people live there, and I'm like, oh man.
Man, you should come in and
I
stay for a while.
got to jump.
Come stay for a while.
I did the ran up the hill with Keith.
The Hill of Tears.
Changed my voice for like 2 days. I felt like I was getting sick.
Their lungs, right?
Yeah.
So open, more open than ever
ripped
before.
things apart.
Yeah, it's hard to breathe out there. Like it takes a while to come down from that, dude. It's spiritual, bro. There's nothing like it.
It's funny because I feel like Keith knew it before I went. There was like a nervousness that I felt because I felt like he's gonna be there. He's gonna be watching me. And I'm like, and I know that my fight's coming up, and I'm like, this is pretty much probably the hardest moment before the fight. Like, do this run, make it with him.
Oh yeah.
And it was terrible.
So did he prepare you for it? Did he tell you to hydrate and like to eat your carbs?
No, we hung out that day. We hung out that day early, and we had some food. And he was like, we're gonna do this run, and you got to sprint up, and we drank water. But I run when I'm in fight camp. I'm older. I don't have that many, so I was very serious about it, and he knew that. Like I did everything you're supposed to do, but I did feel this weird on the drive there, a weird
anxiety almost.
Yeah, like a legit, like maybe almost like up there with the actual fight anxiety.
It is. I mean, that hill, we call it the Hill of Tears, and once you've done that, you know the fight. You know your opponent's not doing anything like that. First of all,
that's what he said on the top of the hill after it when I was on my hands and knees vomiting.
About 7,000 feet above sea level.
Yeah,
and it's spiritual, man. Like it's like a video game. You know the little life bar you get.
Yeah,
your life bar goes up a good 10% every time you do that hill, and that's what gives us chances fighters so much confidence going into to our fights, because we know that no one's doing stuff like that.
Do you like training?
I love it. It's a lifestyle, for sure. Every day, 4 times a day.
Have you always felt that way about it?
I did get to a point in my career where I was winning and it was starting to feel effortless, and I started to take things for granted, and I started to like see how much I can get away with. Maybe I drink tonight, and or just not train this day or whatever. I think one of the fights where I got at my all-time worst was leading up to the Alexander Gustafsson fight. Just thinking that things were meant to come easy. I thought that I was so gifted that I couldn't possibly lose, and boy was I wrong. So now I take every fight extremely seriously, and I give it my all every day, and everything that I do, eat, sleep, train. It's my life.
Do you think you'd be like a 50, 60-year-old guy who still goes to the gym?
Yeah, I think I'm truly happy when I'm being active and getting outside and seeking some level of fitness.
Did you lose when you were a wrestler?
I lost so many times.
You had to, right? Because you're not the greatest wrestler in the world. You've got a lot of credentials, but you're not the champion.
No, I was only.
So people beat you.
Yep, I was a one-time state champion, and before that, I think my first year wrestling, I was like 5 and 35.
Okay.
I got my butt kicked, and then the next year, I was 16 and 16. And then by my senior year, I was 39 and 0. So yeah, I was definitely not like super naturally talented. It took a whole bunch of belief and a whole bunch of work to finally become a winner ultimately.
But when you started mixed martial arts, I was just saying before you came in, there must have been a buzz immediately when you were at the gym, because you would have known that your natural athletic ability suits this sport so much. Like for me, as somebody who tries to train mixed martial arts, and I used to be a pretty good skateboarder, but when I was a pro skateboarder, I was very aware that there were people that had better athletic ability than me. I was just going to have to work harder, and I was going to make a living out of it, but I was never going to be the Jordan of this shit. Am I wrong? But when the first day you had the wrestling credentials, and then they were like, hey, this is your punches, this is your kicks. Were you not instantaneously better than anybody on their first day, or is that wasn't the case?
So after my very first practice, I remember the guys asked me. They said, where'd you train before you came here?
Right.
And I said, I've never trained before. You know, I just grew up, you know, fighting with my brothers and just, you know, slap boxing the kids at school and stuff like that. But hearing things like that, they'll always stay in my heart, and it made me feel like maybe I had found my niche. And then I'm a college dropout, so I always felt like I had goals that I never got to achieve, and I felt like a lot of people who were in the wrestling community looked at me as this guy who failed, another guy who failed.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had to prove something to everyone, and I thought this new arena would be the way I made up for my shortcomings. And so I just had a chip on my shoulder even from day one, even if I didn't really have a right to in this arena. I feel like I had something to prove. But then my first fight, actually, the commentator said, this guy almost reminds me of Anderson Silva.
No way.
And I was just this kid who had no clue even how to jab properly and kick properly, but people saw the resemblance, and it meant so much to me that I put in my heart that one day, you know, it would be like Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where I wanted to be better than Anderson Silva. And now we're here today, you know, arguably on that level.
I mean, Daniel was in here not so long ago, and he seemed like a nice guy, man. I never met him before. I know you guys have got your thing, and that's your personal thing that you guys have. I think you've gone at each other for so long that I can't even begin to understand what it is. I don't even care to. It's a little bit sad that two people can love MMA so much and dislike each other so much.
No, yeah, you're right.
But I get it. You know, you guys have rubbed each other the wrong way, and quite frankly, to me, the two toughest people on the planet is you two. I feel like whoever wins could go into the heavyweight division, and I mean, you versus Stipe, my money's on you.
It'd be a good fight.
I would say Cain Velasquez is the only other person that I would say is the toughest person on the planet, pound for pound. Who would I at least want to fight? I don't want to fight Cain Velasquez. I feel like that guy would. And
He's
you,
a bad man.
I feel like you guys are freaks. There's like a freak thing about you. I mean, a long guy. There, and I'm. Do you have like a lot of? Are you very strong for your weight class?
Yeah, I believe that I'm deceptively strong. I've faced a lot of guys where they'd be like, man, I fought him. You see his skinny legs or whatever. And
right.
Yeah, he was just so much stronger than what he looks like. I think a lot of it's technique and just leverage with the length. But getting back to me and Daniel hating each other, it really is all about the competition. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, if we were in different weight classes, I could see us actually getting along. I really don't think he's this terrible human being.
Right, he's not.
No, he really isn't. It's two fierce competitors who want the same thing so bad that it just drives the competition. It drives hate, you know, because obviously only one of us can be the one, and that's what it all stems from.
Is it more the loss than the win? Like losing to which is the thing that you think is worse or better? Winning against him or losing against him? Like which is it losing? If you lose to him, is it worse than losing to anyone else on the planet, or you just don't want to lose?
No, you know, I felt these similar feelings before. Like I felt like I could not lose to Rashad Evans. There was just
okay,
too
that's
much
right.
on
You
the
guys,
line.
yeah.
And then Chael Sonnen, man, the UFC 151 cancellation, and then we doing the Ultimate Fighter TV show, and just how witty and smart he was, and all the insults and all the belittling he did leading up to the fight. I felt like I could not lose to Chael Sonnen. At that moment in my life, it was the biggest thing. And now Daniel Cormier is here, and I feel like I cannot lose to Daniel Cormier. So knowing that I've been in this situation so many times before, it's really not about not wanting to lose to a certain person. It's about my desire to win. That's what it really boils down to for me. Where Daniel, I feel like Daniel he knows if he loses to me, when he loses to me a second time, there is no arguing, there is no excuses. It's just the whole story now is officially over, and he can look himself in the mirror and say, you know what, this kid was just younger, and he just embraced the sport more as a true martial artist, as a true mixed martial artist. I mean, Daniel still goes to practice with his wrestling shoes on every day. How do you consider yourself a true embracer of what it means to be a martial artist if you're kickboxing with wrestling shoes on, right? I embrace everything about this thing. Meditation, visualization, I mean everything about it. Anyways,
you meditate about fighting
all the time.
You just visualize the fight inside your head.
The fight. Just visualize, meditate on what it means to believe in winning. You know, that's my meditations. But
is the hand raise thing, is that a thing that actually, because
absolutely.
people bring that up all the time, people always.
I heard once, you know, don't visualize your hand being raised, at the end of a fight, visualize the 1 minute before the end of the fight. You're bloody, you're tired, you're exhausted. You can't hold your arms up. There's blood in your eyes. And you're digging with every ounce of yourself. When I visualize winning, I visualize myself versus Alexander Gustafsson. What it took at that moment to pull that off. That's what you should meditate on. Not just you're dry and you're smiling and and the cameras are flashing and your hands are up.
Because that never made sense to me. Joanna Jacek, she said that she visualized that, and it was like a week before my fight, and I was like, just my hand being raised, it's not enough.
No.
Like, how did I get it raised? I need to visualize that.
The dog fight that it takes to you gotta get comfortable with that thought.
Would you feel ripped off if it wasn't like that for this fight?
No, I'm not expecting it to be like that, to be honest.
What are you
with
expecting?
I believe I'm going to finish him this time.
Fast?
It's my first rematch, and I've never been in this situation, and I see myself not having the same anxiety that I had the first time.
You did have anxiety against it.
You always have anxiety when you're going against an undefeated fighter. You just never know what they're going to bring to the table.
Right.
You never know if they're if they have that thing.
Did you train for that fight?
I did, but obviously,
you made a joke at a
cocaine test too, so it's like
so you didn't. You could have trained harder.
I could have trained harder.
Right.
Yeah, and in this time it's real. This time it's real, and I feel like I've done everything to get the finish. Even my coach's expectations on me has been different this camp, where we're not thinking about winning the fight. We're not thinking about two undefeated guys and winning the fight. We're thinking about, I've beaten him before. We're gonna do it again, but we need to expect more out of ourselves because we can. We're capable. We're the guy to do it. Finish Daniel Cormier.
I mean, to me, and he agreed when he was in here in the I think it was the 4th round in the championship rounds. You took him. He gassed.
And this is the thing.
And you took him down, and you could tell he gave up.
He blamed it on. He said he had anxiety.
So did you.
Why in the hell do you have anxiety? You wrestled for the Olympics. I mean that's not an excuse.
Yeah, but you're Jon Jones, and you just said you had anxiety. You're the greatest fighter alive, and you get anxiety. Can everyone else not have it?
My anxiety was, it's okay to have anxiety. It's okay to have butterflies as long as you can get them to fly in formation when the time is right. And my anxiety was under control.
Okay.
Right. He blames a part of his fatigue for anxiety. That's not an excuse. That's part of what makes me not him.
Yeah.
Right. And then another thing, he's like, oh, John, he hit me with some body shots early in the fight, and they paid dividends towards the end of the fight. That's not an excuse. That's me being more prepared, of me being a better martial artist.
Yeah.
He uses this as if it makes it acceptable. Like, these are the reasons, and it won't happen again. It's like, no.
Will it be hard?
Punching people's the name of the game.
Will it be hard to switch up?
It'd be like Shogun's fight, for example. John caught me with a flying knee in the beginning of the fight, and that's the only reason why he won. I could never pull it back together. It's like, motherfucker, I caught you with the flying knee.
I feel like all you guys are the same when it comes to that, though. You lose fight. I remember Uriah losing to Dominic Cruz, and there was an interview where they were both talking to each other, and Uriah was just like, "No, it didn't happen." And I'm like, "Dude, it's fucking playing in the background behind you.
Right.
You're losing this fight. Like, it's on video."
Right.
And you're like, "No, not exactly, because I did this and I did that." And I'm like, okay, I get it. It's like a certain thing where if you would actually admitted that it had happened this way, maybe that might affect your ego or the way you go about the rest of your career.
In my opinion, the only thing that you can use as an excuse for losing is going in there and knowing you're seriously injured, and you went in there and you knew that something was fractured, or your pinky was broken, or your pinky toe, and you couldn't pivot the way. That's the only thing that I could like honestly take it, like, listen to a man make an excuse for losing. Any of the other shit, anxiety, or I had a bad weight cut, or all, that's your fault. Yeah. That's you not being at the level.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And that's what Daniel's doing. Kane wasn't training with me last time, so or Luke wasn't in town.
I saw you bring that up.
Yeah, it's like none of this shit's an excuse. There are no excuses. Oh, I had butterflies. I've heard so many excuses from him. Oh, I wasn't used to the weight cut. I wasn't used to 5-round fights against light heavyweight people who can move at a light heavyweight speed. It's just all these things that let me know that he's not ready to beat me. Oh, Jon did steroids, so that's the only way he. Like,
Is he the hardest guy you've ever faced?
No, not at all.
Who's the hardest?
Gustafsson was.
But would you say that Alexander was tougher because you didn't train at all for that particular fight?
I didn't train, but that was my fault. That was
okay. You're accepting that.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Honestly, though, I know you you don't like Daniel, but the toughest person that you can face on the planet right now, is he not? Is this not the fight?
He's not.
Who is?
Probably Stipe.
Okay, so now you're going up a weight class to say that it's tough.
Are we talking about the toughest man on the planet
I'm saying in your weight class.
In my weight class.
He's the guy, right?
No, I can't.
You can't even.
No, because I didn't win by split decision.
I
won by unanimous decision.
Yes, but you didn't finish him.
He didn't have me bleed. He didn't. I didn't have to escape a rear naked
Okay,
choke.
tell me
There was never a time where I was.
Who's the second best light heavyweight in the world?
The second best?
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier.
Okay, so we can at least admit that he is in that weight class the hardest guy that you can face. After him, you said so yourself, Stipe.
Because styles make matchups, and so far what's proven is Alexander Gustafsson has been my biggest challenge. He came the closest.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier is at the same level as a Glover Teixeira to me, a Rashad Evans to me. All the other guys that I wasn't able to finish, but won by unanimous decision. Like I said, when you really think about it, it was a little bit of a dogfight. It was fun to watch. It was
First 3 rounds were very close. Very close.
But at no point did I ever feel in jeopardy, like that look in my eye, like holy I may be losing this.
Yeah, I've never
felt that.
No, I've never seen you see that.
Who's given me that is Alexander Gustafsson, and I always respect.
Did you really? You actually kind of thought that you were in trouble in that fight?
Oh, I knew I was in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, it's gonna be close, but I was like, you're winning this fight, and I didn't think you were in you were drowning at any point, but you were.
I was drowning, and I became forever better because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just more of a man.
I bet, because they won't do that in the gym. Nobody will take you within an edge of your life and then make you work out of it. That's not.
That Hill of Tears was the closest thing that could bring me back to
Wow.
that moment.
You know, it's funny because
But Daniel didn't bring me there.
DC would probably just say the same thing about Gustafsson. I think he would say he made a better fighter as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is that Gustafsson's doing, but
yeah, I bet you DC probably had more of that feeling against Gustafsson than me.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, we both Gustafsson has that respect in both of our hearts.
Yeah, well, he's an amazing fighter too, man. He's incredible.
He is.
But
that rematch is going to be amazing. I mean, I hope that rematch gets the respect it deserves and that the world tunes in for it, because if it was anything like the first one, which I doubt, it will be. I really feel like I'm going to adjust and beat him in a different way. But I mean, that was the fight.
So look, you've got to go. I'm being told you have to go. Just because you're the greatest fighter on the planet, like naturally, you know, and all that stuff. And I'm 45, but I look at you like I'm 12, and I'm like, what it must be like to have these powers that you possess. After this fight, win, lose or draw, are you now? I can go because there's another level. You're still young.
Yeah.
If this is a tough fight and you dig deep, there's a better Jon Jones that comes out of this.
I believe so.
Is it necessary? Because my argument is it worth it? Because I feel like you could beat Stipe right now.
Mm.
Are you going to party? Are you going to get loose? Are you like, I won, I'm now like undisputedly my weight division, nobody can touch me. I deserve to go out a little bit. I'm fucking rich, I'm fucking famous. Why can't I go out and have a little bit of fun? Or are you like, that shit is sketchy for me, I can no longer go there?
Oh, well, you know, I'm at a point right now in my life and in my career where I'm just like, I'm me. And I'm finally glad to find this realization and this comfort within myself to be confident in who I am as I am. And so I'm absolutely going to party. I'm gonna fucking have a great time. I'm probably going to go to Mexico or somewhere and absolutely
where TMZ can't find you.
Exactly.
Did you say that?
And I'm going to cut loose. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to celebrate all the shit that I've been through and how I've made it out of it. You know.
You don't think you'll need to go to like a rehab or anything down the road?
No, I don't.
You know you're talking to a junkie right here. That's just so you know.
I've heard things about your legacy.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
What, legacy?
Yeah, legacy.
Jon Jones just said something about I got a legacy. This is the greatest day.
You got a legacy, man. And look at you today, man. Look at you today, man. Smiling, looking good. Man, our past don't hold anything over us, man. I'm glad that I have the experience that I have. I'm glad that I've done the things that I've done. I mean, there's some things that I regret. A hit and run with a pregnant woman, I regret that every day.
You didn't know she was pregnant?
I had no clue. I wasn't driving around looking for a woman to hit. I freaking...
No, you were like, fuck, I'm in trouble. I gotta get out of here.
I ran.
What if everybody finds out?
But at the end of the day, dude, it's like, dude, it's just... My weakness is a part of my strength, man. There's no light without your darkness. And so I don't let that shit hold anything over me. And it's like, my job is not to be the world's freaking... I don't know, bro. I've fucked up many times, and I'm not hiding it from nobody. It's already out there for the public to know about it. This is who I am. I'm happy with what I am, and I'm just gonna compete.
I just don't want you to waste it. That's the same. You know,
to.
me and Daniel both had the same thing that we agreed to, because the thing that me and Daniel could relate on is not a naturally talented athlete. I was never good at it. I just lived in this for so long and tried so hard that I made myself athletical. And then I stuck with the real athletes for 20 years and made a living out of it. I always knew there was at least 5 or 6 guys. I was like, I can't. I'd come here all day. I see you when you're like hungover or sore, and you have a thing that I can't do what you can do. Right. I know you don't, and you have that. So, and I think Daniel's similar to me. I think Daniel's not. I mean, he doesn't look at him. That's not the ultimate shape to be the champ.
This is true.
And it's amazing that he can do it. What? So, did that sound disrespectful to Daniel?
No.
He's kind of fat. I mean, come on.
He's kind of fat. I love your accent, by the way.
But he's amazing. I mean, if you didn't exist, he'd be undefeated and he'd be the champ.
This is true. So I definitely won't waste it. Like I said, I've matured a lot, man. I know that there's some things that's just unacceptable. I am allowed to have fun. I'm allowed to. I've earned the life that I live. And I'm not gonna be a guy who freaking. I'm gonna live it the way I want to live it. And if I want to freaking have some fun, I'm gonna have some fun, man.
Just be safe, man. I mean, I just feel bad that I just said that, but I mean, all the things that have happened to you when you're just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
You gotta watch yourself, right?
I've learned a lot, man.
You get a limousine, you get like a hotel without your name.
I have
like
a
you need
full-time
to fucking
security guard now and a driver that's with me whenever I step foot out of the house with the intentions of going out and drinking and things like that. I'm more responsible and mature about partying than I used to be. I realized that being reckless, I'm not at top of the law, and I've learned that the hard way. But I'm still very much a guy who enjoys his life to the fullest.
When you say enjoy your life to the fullest, do you mean like a couple of beers in the sun, or are you like, what is a really good evening? Is it late and is it a lot of women? Are you?
No,
I mean,
no,
that's how I was. I mean, to me, a really good like if I was you and I won that fight, I would go to Vegas and I would, you know what I mean? I would have all the girls and I would do a lot of women. That's sort of my thing.
And you top it off with bumps. I mean, you're talking about really nice hotels and you're talking about beers and girls. Like, see, that leads to bumps in my mind.
So that's that, you know.
I was leaving that one out, but yeah, that was probably going to be in there as well.
I feel like
you can't do that. You know that, right?
Yeah, no.
You can do it when you're 40. When you're my age, then you fucking do some bumps. And you're an ox. You can do coke when you're 45. You'll be no worries.
Follow the
Are we really
path.
talking about this right now? No, man. It's I try to stick to things that won't land me in the tabloids. But one thing I know that I can do is I'm allowed to go out and get hammered if I really want to. It's completely legal, and I've earned it. So I just gotta be responsible. I just gotta be responsible about it.
All right, just to Albuquerque, the altitude. So watch it, all right. Just don't have as many, okay?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Thanks for being on the show, dude. It's an honor to meet you. All right, we'll be back.